It's been called many things, from brutal to the sweet science. Depending on the perspective, boxing is seen as barbaric, violent, and merciless rather than sport. But for some onlookers, boxing's mesmerizing ferocity is viewed as an artistic display of athleticism, tenacity, and strategy.
Was in trouble in both the first and 10th rounds, and now he's in trouble here.
The purest form of competition. For some, a journey to wealth and world-renowned fame transcending culture. But for others, it's a way out, igniting oneself towards a path to a better life.
Play with his hands down now, moving clockwise, continuing in that same shuffle of his. He's got, he looks like a dancer up there, the way he bobs and weaves for a man.
My name is Adam McVicker. I'm captivated by combat sports, and on my search to learn more about the fighting culture in the Midwest, I came across the Red Savages. Just over 50 kilometers north of Lloydminster, scattered on both sides of the Alberta-Saskatchewan border, sits Onion Lake, a Cree First Nation of around 5,000 members, rich in culture, one of the most notable First Nations leading the way in oil production. But a life of crime, alcohol, and drug abuse are realities many are born into. Something Matthew Fox knows all too well.
I was born fighting, so this came natural to me. Growing up in Lloyd, I grew up in Lloyd till about maybe 9 or 10, but every day I was fighting somebody. It was just a natural thing to do, right? So then when I moved back here, same thing, fighting. So then I just turned it into a positive.
Standing over 6 feet tall, Fox is a towering figure, strong like a brick wall. His love of fighting brought him from the streets to the gym and into the hands of Garrett Tepper.
These guys do an amazing job. It takes a lot of guts to step in the ring. These guys aren't pro fighters by all means, not even amateur boxers. So, they rise to the occasion, and yeah, it's good.
Tepper's reputation stems throughout the border city, a sage of combat sports in the area, cultivating young athletes while heading up a local promotion called Proving Grounds, a fitting name for the challenge it presented.
For years, we put on these local tough guy events, okay? Basically, it's for the amateur sportsman, not amateur boxer, but anybody who kind of trains and stuff. The criteria was nobody could have any previous ring experience as far as amateur or pro, and Matthew had signed up probably about 80 years ago, and since that time he had fought probably 6 times for the promotion, and we just built a friendship right from there.
Fox won multiple fights in Proving Grounds, even earning the crown of heavyweight champion.
Once you get the first fight under your belt and you want to keep going, you still got the adrenaline flowing, but injury happens, that happens, so disappointing, but win's a win.
It was that friendship and training that inspired Fox to attempt something that had never been done before in Onion Lake: open the community's first ever boxing club.
What I put together is all the Red Savage fighting systems, right? And the word red comes from my people, or red people. And the word savage was a term used to discriminate Native people back then, right? And I want to turn that into a positive. So when people see us somewhere and they say those are Red Savages, that there's a little bit of pride behind it, right? So we're proud to be that Red Savage.
The true goal of the Red Savage fighting system? To give youth an outlet and another sport to keep them away from drugs and alcohol.
We're trying to encourage the youth to stay away from alcohol and drugs, right? Gangs. We're trying to give them something more than just hockey, basketball, volleyball. There's a lot of kids that not interested in stuff like that, and combative sports, it's something to either boost your self-esteem or just give you something to do after 4 o'clock, right?
So I guess when he first approached you about, starting to teach people boxing up in Onion Lake, what were your first thoughts about that?
First thoughts was, great. The sport needs to grow. Boxing, the kickboxing, MMA, and what an outlet for kids. Other than, don't get me wrong, team sports, hockey, I play hockey, football, any of that, it's great. But there's also those kids that don't want to play the team sports, right? And they want to express themselves in a different way. And martial arts, boxing is a great way for them to do this.
Along with help from Tepper, Fox quickly got to work, putting together a 4-member committee to lay the structure. The club is recognized as an affiliate of Saskatchewan Boxing, allowing fighters to compete in amateur tournaments across the province. They're also confirmed as a non-profit. The goal is to raise funds and eventually open a facility of their own.
It's a long process, by the looks of it. It could be a year, it could be longer. So for now, we're just bouncing around.
Fox's idea, still in the grassroots, spread through word of mouth and over social media, bringing in more local youth and trainers like Cody Bear.
Oh yeah, I fought in King in the Cage, Rumble in the Cage, Extreme Cage Wars. Had my share in the fights.
Cody and I have been friends for the last 5 years, and I knew him through friends, and then I knew he was a boxer, a trainer, and he fought in a cage and stuff, so we linked up and I helped him, and I needed him to help me train fighters.
Got to hang around with him, and he told me that he was in some tough man competitions, and I told him I was in mixed martial arts back in the day, and and then we just hit it off. We hung out, and then after that, he told me that he needed some training with some of the guys that was entering those competitions here. So put my time in with the boys.
There's a lot of good people here. There's a lot of youth, a lot of talented youth, and I want to showcase that. And one way I know how to do it is by fighting, boxing, but in a positive way.
It's another night at one of Onion Lake's school gymnasiums. Matthew Fox and some of his team are getting ready, wrapping their knuckles and strapping up their gloves for a couple hours of training after a long workday.
First of all, we come in, we stretch out. I would talk about what's going on in our lives and stuff, and then stretch out, and then we start with our jogging, and then after that we hit the mitts, and if we have a heavy bag or a bag, we practice combos on those too. And then after that we have open sparring, and sometimes we just work on cardio.
It's a smaller group than usual because of the difficult task of securing regular gym space. Training sessions have become scarce despite an intense effort to keep a constant Monday to Friday schedule. But the hard work has Fox's regulars coming back, like Edwin Chief, one of the younger guys in the group.
The challenge. It challenges me to do better, to be a better person, and try to reach a goal of being number one. You know? Yeah, it's a big challenge, and I like to challenge myself to do stuff like that.
Chief used to play team sports, but slowly drifted away in favor of one of the world's oldest sports.
But at the end of the day, you know, it is a fight, but it's a fight within yourself. I've always strongly believed that, you know, can I do this? Can I get up at 5 in the morning for that run? Can I really push myself to go that extra round? It's not about fighting. It's about the training. It's about the camaraderie. And I strongly believe, you know, coming from different sports background, I believe some of the strongest camaraderie comes from a martial arts gym.
Quickly and precise with unexpected power would be an accurate way to describe Chief's style, much like his favorite boxer.
Triple G.
Gennadiovic Golovkin, a.k.a. Triple G.
Training on and off with Fox for over a year, Chief feels boxing helps many overcome the tough realities of life on Canadian reserves like alcoholism, drug abuse, and crime.
It would keep their mind off of doing other activities out there, and I don't know, it's just coming in and putting in work because it kind of just clears the mind.
Like Edwin, he was a troubled teen, right? And I found him, and then he wanted to box, and so he's boxed in 2 of my tournaments, or 3 of them, and he's come a long ways, right? And he tries to stay clean and sober, and that's the main focus. And I tell him they're going to box for me, clean and sober.
One of the only rules involved with being part of Fox's team.
No alcohol, drugs, and if they are on drugs and we know, well, they can't box. Or we give them, you know, ultimatum.
Edwin isn't the only one on Fox's team looking to translate the benefits of training to everyday life. Cody Bear had a tougher upbringing than most and also seeked shelter in a fight gym.
It helped me a lot. I had like a bunch of friends that I grew up with that are either passed away or in jail, or it's pretty crazy the way I grew up, growing up in the streets, and I have a lot of friends that try to make me join the gangs.
We're all from Onion Lake. We have a few that moved here from North Balford, and we've reached out to Frog Lake and the surrounding communities, right? So that's kind of what I wanted to do, was create something for youth.
A simple Google search reveals the dark underbelly of Onion Lake, littered with news articles and mugshots of those who fell in with the wrong crowds. From murder to assault, a glaring issue with few solutions.
There's a lot of that, right? Because we're limited to things people can do here. A lot of people can't go to Lloydminster just to go do something, right? A lot of people are limited to the things they can do for recreational stuff.
It gives you a goal, okay? A lot of these kids that might join a boxing club or martial arts don't have a lot of drive in the sense where they want to play a team sport and stuff like that.
I mean, a lot of people have been drifting away from our culture because basically colonization and residential schools. A lot of people have drifted away from it. As far as here, the Red Savage, I'd like to keep it my name traditional because we are a Red people and we are Cree. But as far as tradition, we're kind of my people are kind of fading away, which is not good. So I'd like to bring it back in any way that I could.
But there is one hindrance for Matthew's vision to create something recreational and close to tradition. Some members of the band don't see fighting as a positive influence on the community's youth.
People view this as fighting, and it's not fighting. It is in a roundabout way, but it's a competition, right? It's to better yourself physically, mentally, to prepare you for, could be potentially a 10-round, 12-round fight, right? So it just really brings out the best in an athlete. I truly believe that.
A lot of it, people are just intimidated, I think, because it's boxing. They're not too sure.
For thousands of years, the ancestors of the Cree were spread thinly throughout the Canadian prairies and woodlands. Some areas they still occupy to this day. The Cree traditionally lived in smaller bands, gathering in larger groups for socializing, ceremonies, and trade. Religion was closely based on animals and spirits that came in dreams, many of their stories expressed in the form of dance. And with footwork and movement like a violent dance, one of boxing's most beautiful traits, it reveals the story of those who engage in it. Whether it be the one trying to do good, the one working toward achieving a better life, or the one fighting to live a healthier lifestyle. Though, a persistent challenge facing all of them, no matter which part of the journey they're on, is where to gather.
We're limited to the facilities we have in Onion Lake. Mm-hmm. Just like us, we have to use this gym, but we bounce around from gym to gym, and it's limited.
How hard is that?
Oh, it's very frustrating. Like, you can say we can get a gym maybe Monday, and then on a Tuesday we got to jump to another gym that could be 20 minutes away, mm-hmm. and then the next day again somewhere else. So it gets very frustrating.
The Red Savage team doesn't have a set location. Currently, they work to secure gym time during the week at schools and community centers around Onion Lake. With no ring, they make do with what they have.
The focus is to get our gym, but again, like my committee, we're working on building a proposal and getting nonprofit money so that we can build our own facility within Onion Lake. Because Onion Lake, that's the one thing it doesn't have. And I want to help the youth. That's the thing. That's why I created this, is to help youth, not to really benefit from anything. I just want to give something to the youth so that they have something to do instead of turning to alcohol and drugs.
The dream of opening a physical gym of their own is still dominant for the group, but harsh critics continue to make the goal seem further out of reach.
And I just kept hitting hurdles after hurdle, and it was getting nowhere, right? So I would get the runaround. because they can't see boxing as a sport. They were thinking violence. We're promoting violence, which is not what we're trying to do. We're promoting competition.
It's just like any other sport. Any other sport out there, like hockey, baseball. Like, we work here as a team, and that's what we're here for. Is just to better ourselves, like more for the outside world. Like, it kind of helps you mentally, all that stuff.
Nice pull. Okay, do it again.
But despite the hurdles, Fox still finds time to make it all work. Like most, he works a regular 9-to-5 job, all while trying to set up meetings and book gym time to further advance his club.
Everything's out of my pocket. I don't get paid to do any of this. Everything I do for free. And my trainers, whatever I can get from the guys, like if it's $20, $30 for the month, I give it Cody, and he takes care of the training, and then I just take care of the business side, and I do some of the training from what I can, but everything's basically out of my pocket.
With a true fighter spirit, Fox and his committee continue to try to raise money for a new facility. There's no word on how long the process will take. Fox says they've had no assistance from the Onion Lake Tribal Council. The band simply doesn't have the funds to help build it. The Red Savages are completely separate from the local recreation department, which has to send its funds to other programs throughout the community. The Red Savages currently have found temporary space at a local school, where, for a flat rate, they will have an open gym to train almost nightly for the next year.
Well, if we had a bigger facility, but within this gym, I'd like to have at least 50 students. You know, from 10 to whatever, 50 even, you know? Because it's more, I wanted to more be around physical fitness. I wanted to help Aboriginal people to get off, because we suffer from a lot of diabetes and we suffer a lot of health problems. I wanted to change it. I wanted people to get them off the couch, get them more physical active.
The competition of fighting and the focus, it's not like any other sport. I truly believe that, right? The dedication you need to put in, and the discipline and self-discipline. You know, there's going to be times where you don't want to work out and you don't want to go for that run, but you know what it takes to have to get to that next level, right?
And the next level is exactly where this group of young Cree men are looking to go. Just like the daily grind a boxer experiences, repetition and consistency remain integral parts of the dream, whether it be combinations or drills, or in Fox's case, swaying public perception of the sweet science.
As long as the public embraces it, there's no question why it wouldn't. You know, that's how a lot of these gyms will start, you know, just to see if they have the interest and stuff like that. I know he has the interest already, you know, word of mouth, hearing people talk, and he's doing a good thing. You know, he's helping some of these kids and adults that really don't play other sports.
But like every world champion, at the beginning of an illustrious career, they're in the grassroots, but showing no signs of relenting. Whether it be pushing people to pursue active and healthy lifestyles, training future champions, or moving his community into the future.
3, 2, 1,
There is a belief that a craft so violent in nature and strategic to its inner core
Right hook as he was coming in, never saw it. And what's amazing, to see him land a punch and then slip a punch all at the same time shows unbelievable coordination.
could possibly make a sweeping change for a younger generation in a place desperately searching for one.
I have big dreams for this place, for Onion Lake, right? It's home, and it'll always be home.
If you're in the Midwest or Onion Lake areas and you're interested in training with Matthew Fox and the Red Savage Fighting Systems, there are only a few ways to contact them. You can visit www.boxingsask.com, or you can contact Matthew Fox directly through Facebook. The Red Savages say they'll take anybody and everybody, whether they're training for fights, looking to learn a hobby, or looking to live a healthier lifestyle.
Right, hard work, success, and everything's a mindset, right? Change the way you think about things. Turn that negative into a positive. Just
Everybody has different reasons. Some people have some aggression. They believe, you know, that's an outlet for them. Some people, you know, use this for whatever type of focus, right? But most people have different reasons. So.
For the future, I want them to spread the word. I want to get some more people to come join us and make a good community about it.
What do you like about doing some
Boxing? Well, mainly just like physical work. The conditioning is pretty good of being healthy, working hard, just coming in to put into work, eh?
He has nothing to lose now, but to throw bombs. He's been down 3 times, takes a right short by Clay. Clay hitting him almost at will. Williams, with that age, apparently slowing him up, and he's a target here for
starting to come up to make it perfect. It's good, it's not perfect.
That right hand scored by Ali. Look at these dominations. A right uppercut did the job. I don't think he's going to make it, friend. And we're just about ready to go. The opening bell, let's see what's happened. Tyson attacks immediately, cuts off the ring, throws a wild right hand.